Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the University of California, Merced. As part of the Become a Bobcat virtual series, you're here for our School of Natural Sciences information session. My name is Iona Nee, and I am the Assistant Director of Domestic Recruitment with the Undergraduate Office of Admissions at the University of California, Merced. And I'll be serving as one of your moderators today. As we wait for more folks to join us, I'd like to review a few tips before we get started. If you need to adjust your audio settings, you can do so in the lower left corner of your screen by clicking the audio settings button. If you'd like to adjust the size of your window, please do so by clicking view options in the upper portion of your screen and adjusting those settings there. We definitely love to hear from you, so please submit your questions in the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll answer your questions throughout the presentation and during our Q&A panel. Once again, my name is Iona Nee. Thank you so much for joining our virtual event as part of Become a Bobcat virtual series. And before we begin, we just want to provide a brief overview of what a Become a Bobcat series is all about. We are offering over 40 different virtual events throughout the next couple of months where you and your family get to learn about UC Merced, our support services, support programs, as well as academic programs like tonight, and what student life is like at UC Merced. And we want to congratulate all of our admitted fall 2021 students as you get to explore and learn more about UC Merced and the opportunities that await. And for tonight, we'll be highlighting the School of Natural Sciences, where they are conducting cutting-edge research from fighting disease to creating sustainable energy resources. Hear from the Dean, Assistant Dean for Student Support, academic advisors, and current students how working side by side with world-renowned faculty deepens their knowledge. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our Dean of Natural Sciences, Elizabeth Dumont.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad that you could join us today. It's exciting to be here and talking to students who we'll see in the fall. Just to get it right out front, we do look forward to seeing you in person in the fall. That is our plan, and our schedule is posted. And unless public health measures require otherwise, we will see you in September, and we're really excited about that. So I want to take some time to tell you a little bit about the School of Natural Sciences today. It's a very exciting place. As you know, Merced is a relatively young campus. And so all of the research that's going on, all of the teaching that's going on is very fresh, very up to date, and really pretty exciting. So when you think about coming to Merced, I guess the real question for you that I would ask of you is, how do you want to change the world? That's really what we think about here and what we try to do. Our faculty do it through research, our students through learning and then going on to their careers after they're done. And it's a very transformative place, and it's got a very exciting vibe to it. So I hope that you'll be seeing that in the fall with us. So thinking about how do you want to change the world? Well, really the first step in doing that is to think about what your major would be. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking of your major and you already know what it is. And many of you are thinking, oh, I have no idea what my major is going to be. And that's totally okay. It is a time for you to explore when you come to UC Merced and within the School of Natural Sciences. And there are a number of majors that we have that you can explore. We've got a biological sciences major where it's talking about both biomedical research and also environmental issues. Applied mathematics is a really exciting group. Mathematicians who come up with solutions to all kinds of problems in other fields. And so it's really a neat thing to watch and learn about. Earth system science is very much about sustainability and an interest in soil and water and agriculture. And also geology is coming online. Physics department is a very broad department, thinks about matter and energy and all of the different ways it can be transformed. We have everything from faculty who study soft matter, biological materials, to people who study quantum physics. And then chemical sciences is also a very broad area with people studying everything from disease to solar panels. And these are all majors that you can choose from. And they feel probably, or maybe, very general. So I want to point out that all of these majors have emphasis tracks inside them. And I think of these as majors inside majors. So for example, if you were to come as a biology major, you could do an emphasis track in developmental biology or microbiology and immunology. And that would involve specialized high-level courses in those areas so that you're equipped with that information as you go out. Not even just the information, but also how to think about things like microbiology and immunology. Chemical sciences, again, has a range of things from biological chemistry all the way through to materials, which has some overlap with engineering. And again, our applied mathematicians, all of these tracks are available inside the applied mathematics major that allow you to specialize in each of these kinds of things. Our other majors do the same thing with their tracks. So we've got physics. Again, we've got atomic or molecular physics, mathematical physics, biophysics, and we've also even got a couple of astronomers now on our faculty, and that's very exciting. We're looking forward to those classes. Physics is neat because you can design your own major, and it's also one of the leading departments in terms of doing a senior project. They have a very well developed senior project template, which is a very, very open template so that you can fill in what you want and work with a faculty member to learn about whatever aspect of physics they work in. Our Earth System Science major does not have tracks, but really it covers all of these different kinds of issues, everything from climate to water to conservation of biodiversity. And so you take a look at the emphasis tracks when you look at the materials and think about what it is that you are really interested in doing. So most of you most of all of us come to university, come to university thinking about what kind of career we might want. And natural sciences is a really great area because there are all kinds of careers that go in many, many different directions that can take off from a major in any of the natural sciences, any of the disciplines. So of course, there's always healthcare, whether that be a physician or nurse practitioner or a PT, a physical therapist. Data science, we have a very strong data science presence in applied mathematics as well as physics. Artificial intelligence and machine learning, lots of faculty in many different disciplines are using machine learning now in their research. And there are things like biotech that you would be able to do, coming out with a degree, again, any of the majors in natural sciences. There are also some careers that you might not expect to come from natural sciences. Teaching, for example, we have a very good teaching program that you'll hear about a little bit later. There are agricultural consulting firms, there's banking and finance, there's business, there's law. These are all things that can come after a major in the natural sciences. And if those seem kind of odd, there are also some really far out things that can come with one of these majors. People go into work for the Park Service, which is a really exciting future. Sustainability consultants. Sustainability is a huge theme on our campus and something that we want to talk a lot about, and then we do a lot about, and we walk the walk. Environmental policy, archaeology, environmental science, all of these things are available, are opening doors to all of these things with a major in any of the natural sciences. So you are going to come to UC Merced and get a bachelor's degree. It's a 4-year degree. And if you would like, instead of going into a job right away, we're going to prepare you for all of these different pathways to higher educational goals. So for example, another few years could get you into medical, allied health, or nursing school for those kinds of jobs. You could go for a master's degree and do any number of things. Administrative professional is just one example. Law and business, natural sciences is a good jumping off point for that. And then of course, a lot of our students go on to become doctorates, right? PhDs, researchers or professors, like the professors that you're going to meet in the fall. And so in addition to jobs right away, we're setting you up for these career paths that will take a little bit more training. So why come to UC Merced and not a CSU, right? This is a really great question. And the reason is that UC Merced is a research university. And what does that mean? What that means is that our faculty are working very hard on interesting, relevant problems in today's world. They're doing cutting edge research in COVID-19. For example, one of our faculty members in chemistry received grant funding to do work on thinking about how the molecules in the virus assemble and move and act. There are faculty who are thinking about applied mathematicians who are thinking about how do they collaborate with astronomers to understand how stars and planets and galaxies work. And then we've also got people in life and environmental sciences who are really solving these big questions about climate change and the biodiversity crisis that we're thinking about. And being at a research university means you get to learn directly from these people who are leaders in their field. And that's a pretty exciting opportunity. The other thing that a research university gives you as an advantage is an opportunity to actually do research. And so we're very proud of the fact that 77% of our graduating natural sciences students participate in research. That's a really high number that you would be hard pressed to find in anywhere else, really. We do that through working directly in faculty members' labs when you have an opportunity to do that. And we also have a number of centers and institutes on campus that often have undergraduate research opportunities within them, either during the semester or sometimes during the summer. It's really exciting to be part of these. These are all very vibrant research communities and would welcome undergraduates into their fold very with open arms. The other thing a research university does is we are a locus, a place where people from all over the world who are interesting, influential, important people come to visit. We're a research university, so we are able to get in, for example, we've got President Jimmy Carter was here. Everybody remembers First Lady Michelle Obama was here. And as well as congressmen and assemblymen, and even the America's Got Talent winner from 2020 was here just a few weeks ago. So that was pretty fun. So that's the other reason to come to a research university. There's all kinds of things that are going on in the background that are interesting, exciting activities for you to participate in. So what I'd like to do right now is turn this over to Assistant Dean for Student Services, Angie Salinas, and Dean Salinas will take you through the rest of some of these slides.
Thank you, Dean Dumont. Welcome, everybody. So excited to be here with you tonight. I'm going to go through very briefly some of the support services we have for students who are majoring in the School of Natural Sciences. So based off of all the information that Dean Dumont just shared with you, as a student of the School of Natural Sciences, we really look to ensure that you're having the full student experience, understanding what research is available for you, understanding your major. But in addition to that, we also want to make sure that you receive the support that you need to progress towards your degree and ultimately graduation. And so with that being said, we have a couple of different support services I'd like to highlight. The first is academic advising. All students, when they major within the School of Natural Sciences, will have an academic advisor assigned to them. And essentially, this is a professional staff member who will work with you to ensure you're meeting your degree requirements, that you're taking the appropriate courses when you need to take them, and that if you do have any questions, they would be your first line to get some of those questions answered. So we have a great group of academic advisors. 2 of them are here today, so you'll be able to maybe ask them some questions later down the presentation. We also have pre-health advising. Pre-health advising is a service that's provided to the entire campus. It's not just natural science students, but it's a great service that's extremely popular. And so if you're interested in going into any type of pre-health profession, medical school, vet school, optometry school, pharmacy school, becoming a nurse, anything of that nature, you're going to want to meet with our pre-health advising team. Jen Souza is one of our academic advisors, as well as a pre-health advisor who's in this webinar tonight. So you'll be able to ask her questions if you'd like. We also have the Excel program. The Excel program is unique to the School of Natural Sciences, and it was especially designed for students who may have a bit of trouble transitioning to the university. So maybe your first semester wasn't the greatest, but we do have coaches who will step in and help help identify areas for improvement so that you can continue progressing in your degree. These are academic coaches that are our liaisons between the School of Natural Sciences and the rest of the campus community. So if you need help with time management, maybe you need test taking skills and tips, this academic coach is going to be there to help you. And this is a really special program that's unique to the School of Natural Sciences. So we're really excited to be able to offer that service to you. In addition to those, we have the STEM Resource Center, the Chem Center, and the Math Center. These centers all are here to help you progress in your major. So the STEM Resource Center, Dean Dumont talked a little bit about the research opportunities. 77% of our undergraduates participate in research. The STEM resource is specifically here for School of Natural Science students. If you're wanting to do an internship, research on campus, you're going to want to meet the staff in the STEM Resource Center. They're going to be able to walk you through the steps that you need to participate in research. Now, that doesn't have to be immediately when you get on campus, but maybe after your first or second semester, start thinking about what type of research you'd like to do, and we have staff there to be able to help you do that. The Chem Center and the Math Center is a partnership between ourselves and the Office of Undergraduate Education. Essentially what it is it helps students, if you're struggling, say, in your introductory math courses or chemistry courses, it's not the end of the world. We have upperclassmen that are volunteering and sometimes paid to really help you figure out how to best navigate these courses and eventually pass. So yeah, some of the great centers we have, we hope that you guys take advantage of those when you arrive here at UC Merced. Next slide, please. Awesome. So in addition to all the great resources that I just shared, one of the biggest and popular resources we have is our partnership with the Center for Career and Professional Advancement. Now, this is all things on-campus employment, internships. If you need help writing a resume, a cover letter, maybe getting some tips on how to interview, this is the place you're going to want to get the help from. We actually have a STEM career specialist who works directly with our School of Natural Science students. So if you're interested in doing research off campus, maybe an internship, Robert Goodman is our STEM career specialist who will help you walk you through the process of getting those placements. So it's a great resource to have and something we hope that you guys also utilize. Next slide, please. And then finally, our unique learning opportunities. I'm super excited to talk about these opportunities. They are unique to the School of Natural Sciences. The first is our our School of Natural Sciences Living and Learning Communities. This is an online opportunity, not online, in-person live-in opportunity for students to participate in academic focused groups. And so we have 4 living learning communities. The first is Aristotle House. If you want to focus on leadership, that's a great one to maybe look into. We have Vaughn House, Carson House, as well as Beyond the MD. These are all really great opportunities. If you're planning to live on campus and participate, this will be something that I really encourage you to look into. My understanding is that there'll be a couple of different information sessions specific to living and learning communities. So if it's something you would like to maybe consider, definitely attend one of those sessions. In addition to the living learning communities, which we also have Jose Martinez, who's the program lead here tonight as well. So if you have any additional questions, be sure to shoot them in the chat and he'll be able to answer for you. We also have the CalTeach program, UC Merced CalTeach. Dean Dumont talked about this a little bit. If you're interested in teaching, this is the perfect avenue to go into. You don't have to be a science major to select the education minor, but you do have to be a science major to select the education minor with the credential. Essentially, if you are wanting to become a teacher, you're not sure what it's about, maybe it's something you may be interested in, this is the program that you're going to want to go to. We have dedicated staff who are alumni, who are currently professional staff that can walk you through the process. It's great. We have quite a bit of students we have a partnership with UC Berkeley. And so we have students who take courses here and will complete their credential at Berkeley. And so it's a great partnership. By the time you're done, if you choose to do the STEM major with the credential, by the time you graduate, you will have already completed your 4-year degree along with your 1-year credential to become a teacher. It's a great program. Let us know if you have any questions about that. We're happy to answer. I'm going to open it up to the student panel. So I believe, Iona, you are next.
Thank you, Angie, and thank you, Dean Dumont. Such wonderful information. We'll have our admissions advisor, Elena Nugent, introduce herself and moderate our faculty and student panel.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here tonight. We are so excited to have you. As Iona mentioned, my name is Alina Nugent. I'm one of the regional admissions advisors here for UC Merced, and I'm very excited to be presenting the student panel. I'd like to invite our panelists to join us on screen, and I wanted to introduce them all so you have just a little bit of knowledge of who we are speaking to this evening, and you know exactly who you can ask your questions to. I'm going to first pass it over to Ashley to introduce yourself.
So I've done a lot of programs here on campus. So I've been a part of Merced, which is a program that we've mentioned earlier, which is like a summer program and a year-long program. Sometimes if you apply for it, where you do a lot of research, they fund you. I've been a part of the university's kind of like conjunction program with Apple, where you work for Apple for a long time and then eventually you get hired. And it's really helpful with that. That's a really great experience. What else have I done? I've been in the lab for 3 years. So if you have questions about like early involvement, that's something I do as well. And I'm also vice president of the Women in Physics Society and media director of the Students of Physics Society. So if you have any questions about physics or engineering related, just let me know. I'm more than willing to answer those questions from a student's point of view. So
our next student panelist, Panna.
Hi everyone, my name is Panna. I'm a third year bio major with an emphasis in cell and molecular. I currently work as a student ambassador and I'm in a couple pre-med and pre-nursing clubs. So if you guys have any questions about that, I could be able to help you with those. And I've taken most of the bio lab classes. So if you guys have any questions about that too, I could definitely answer those.
Hi, everybody. We're so excited to have everybody today. You guys have always brought in so much energy. So like I said, super excited. My name is Diana. I'm a fourth year molecular and cell bio major as well. And like Panna said, I'm also in some medical clubs on campus. So I am on the pre-med track, but I also have some experience in bio research on campus. There's definitely a lot of resources that we'd like to share with you from our perspective. So we're really excited to get those questions in today.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Jen Souza, and I am one of the 2 pre-health advisors, and I'm also the academic advisor for chemistry, math, physics, and ESS.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Jose Martinez. I serve as an academic advisor for biological sciences in the School of Natural Sciences, and I also oversee the living learning communities that Angie Salinas was talking earlier about.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you once again. And these are our wonderful panelists that we'll be asking our questions to. So as Iona has put in the chat, and just a reminder, please feel free to utilize the Q&A section on your screen on the bottom to ensure that we can answer your questions. But we are going ahead and get started. And I'm going to first direct my question to our student panelists. What drew you to your major, and specifically the program offered by the School of Natural Sciences at UC Merced?
So I've been majored in physics right from the get-go, from the beginning, and it's mainly because of the School of Natural Science in general. They have physics is very small. We have a very small class, and so it gave me more chance to be a part of research sooner. The thing about your programs is that the smaller the program is, the more higher chance you have of being a part of research. So for me personally, I started my research my first semester sophomore year with the quantum matter group, and I've stayed there ever since. So that's been a huge reason. Also, the classes are a lot smaller compared to my friends up in UCLA or UCR or a Cal State, where they're a lot broader and a lot bigger. So you don't really build that personal experience with professors. So that was a huge reason why I liked the School of Natural Science and just UC Merced in general.
I came in as a bio major because I really liked biology in high school. And then I was like, oh, this is for me. And then we started to dive into biology and I was like, wow, this is really thorough. So whenever you're picking a major for bio, there is a couple different emphasis. And for me, one thing that did change was my emphasis. And I was a human bio major, but then I changed to cell and molecular because I realized I was more into the cells aspect of biology.
And yeah, just to piggyback off of what they've said, unfortunately, mine's not too different. I did start off as a bio major, but I do want to emphasize, I've said this a lot on my tours as well. It's totally okay to change your major, and you have that 2 year, the first 2 years to kind of have that figured out, where you have to sit with your advisor and declare kind of what you want to study. I just remember thinking back when I was 18, or even if you're a transfer student and you're a little bit older, you still might not know what you like. And that's kind of what your experience here at UC Merced is going to be about. So it's totally okay to change your major. I've had friends that change from business to bio, or something like even within natural sciences, bio to chemistry, and that's totally okay. But much like they've said, it's a really unique experience because our school is the newest UCs and has this like smallest campus size. So I was able to get a lot of help from my peers and from faculty that are more than happy to help you in any of your classes. So it's been a really rewarding experience. And like I said, we can't wait to share as much as insight as we can about our majors and our experience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ashley, Pana, and Diana. That was great. Don't you want to become a Bobcat, everyone? I want to be a student again. So I hope that this is inspiring you. And for the next question, I'd like to direct this to our staff on the call. So for staff, research and internship opportunities are abundant in the School of Natural Sciences. And I want to know a little bit about how students on campus can get involved in research and internships, and just what's available in the Merced area, and what are some steps that students can take to get involved in these opportunities.
So there are actually quite a few ways of approaching research. So there are programs on campus that are specifically for research purposes. There's one called UROC, but those opportunities tend to be a little bit more advanced outside of UC Merced. So sometimes we'll send them to other places, other states, other schools. But on campus, there's actually quite a bit of research with just approaching faculty members. So we have a page that lists all the different types of research programs that are on campus and who's doing what, which faculty members are doing what kind of research. So we encourage students to do some exploration, to look into what type of research they might be interested in, and then usually working up the courage to approach the faculty member, because actually that's honestly 75% of the reasons why students get research opportunities. Sometimes they can get sometimes maybe if they're in a class and they develop relationships with the faculty by going to office hours, they will be recruited. But usually it's actually just working up the courage to ask.
To add to that, that's one of the beautiful things I think about UC Merced. You can get to know faculty members very well. It's not uncomfortable. It's not awkward to just send an email to an instructor that does area and research that you really enjoy and just say, hey, I know I don't know you, but can I chat with you during your office hours? Can we meet to just talk about different opportunities to get involved? So it's a lot easier to build a relationship. Sometimes if the faculty member has a research project that they're working on, potentially with a stipend, or maybe they can grant research units, all the better, more and more opportunities.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I hope that folks are also thinking about research and getting involved in research. Maybe at this time, it's not something on your radar, but it's so important and so crucial to learn about how you can expand your educational horizons through research. I personally did it as a UC undergrad as well, so definitely encourage you to check it out. I have another question that I'd also like to direct to our staff, and maybe Dean Dumont, if you could help answer this. What % of UC Merced undergraduate students get into medical school?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the percentage of students who get into medical school from any university is very small. And we are much like any other university. We don't have a particularly large percentage that gets into medical school, or a particularly small percentage. What we can do is do a really good job of preparing you to be ready to do that medical school application, and give you the coaching that you need along the way. And the support services that you need along the way, both through all of the offices that Dean Salinas mentioned, but also in pre-health advising. I don't know if Jen might want to say a little bit more about what you do there. They do a wonderful job.
So that question is very difficult to answer, because there's two different types of students applying to medical school. There's what we call so there's those that apply, and those that are really, really just very marketable and that have a really good chance. They're very competitive is the word we tend to use. And the thing is students have to actually release that information to us. And so they can take the MCAT and not release their information to us. So we don't always know those that get into medical school. So we can never be 100% sure. But what Dean Dumont touched upon is our big goal is to give you the tools to become that competitive applicant. What is the kind of GPA that you kind of need, depending on the school you're looking at? MCAT scores, extracurricular activities, letters of reference, like all of those things are things that we're constantly kind of touching upon from the time that you meet with us to the time that you're looking to potentially apply to medical school. And that it goes across the board, not just with medical school, but we also advise on like nursing and optometry school, chiropractic, dental, pharmacy. So ultimately, our whole goal is to try to help give you the tools needed to become the most competitive applicant that you can be and decrease your chances to get in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jen. Yes, absolutely. We want you to maximize utilizing your resources. There's so many on campus. And much like our academic advisors, they're probably going to be one of your key people to meet with and talk to about how you can prepare for your future. And speaking of kind of, preparing for your future and getting into the programs that you're looking into, maybe you're someone that decides on one major and realizes, maybe this isn't for me. I want to try something else. So I'm going to redirect this one question back to our staff. And Jose, maybe if you want to answer this, if you're interested in changing majors, is it possible to do so? When can you do it? And is there a certain criteria needed to be completed before doing so?
So within the School of Natural Sciences, if you are, so I believe this is still the case, but I could hopefully not be wrong. But I believe that there's an opportunity before you actually register for your classes for the first time that they send out a reminder saying, is this the right major for you? Because they want to make sure that when they provide you with a list of courses to register for, that it's the correct major. So if that's the case, then you'll have the opportunity to potentially change or add your emphasis tracks in. If not, if you're already part of the School of Natural Sciences as a first year, you can change your major within the School of Natural Sciences or add an emphasis after your first semester. So basically at the end of that first semester, you can change. There are certain criteria depending on if you want to switch out of the School of Natural Sciences, and that's something we can get into much later. But it's not so difficult if you're already within the School of Natural Sciences. So you can meet with an advisor, and we are more than willing to meet with students who are interested in changing their major. We don't require you to have like a paper or form and all that stuff at that point. But within the first year, and I've seen a little bit of questions about this already, within your first year, all first year students are housed in the Bobcat Advising Center. So we have a centralized first year model of advising. So you'll have an advisor through them. You'll receive an email from them, usually in May, introducing themselves with then the list of courses in June. So if you, at that point, if you do want to change your major, you can let that advisor know that that is your intent so they can update your suggested questions, your suggested courses.
And to add to that as well, even between that, the start of your first year and the end of that first semester, you're more than welcome to explore all your different options for majors. We have an online tool that you can work with your academic advisor to walk through that tool, but it's also pretty self-explanatory, and there's tons of video guides as well for you to just explore and look at what classes you might need for different majors. We actually welcome that as academic advisors because it's a wonderful conversation to sit down with a student who's kind of already done some homework, has some questions, and we can kind of help clarify any misconceptions about switching majors.
And to kind of piggyback on that, just because I've seen some of the questions come in, I've seen a lot of questions regarding major and interest in going into medical school or health professions. As a pre-health advisor, I encourage students to major in what they want to major in. However, whether it's bio or chem or physics or psychology, when it comes to going into one of those health professional schools, there are prerequisites and things that you have to follow to be eligible. But you don't have to necessarily major in a science. And that was one of the big things that we want students to take away from, because your GPA is so important in being a competitive applicant, that we want you to major in something that you feel good about, that you feel that you're going to excel in. And then as a pre-health advisor, we help you manage like how that's going to look if you aren't a science major. How is it that you can add those classes into your schedule? So there's no necessarily one right recipe for success. There's a more direct pathway. However, there are various pathways to those health professional schools.
Thank you so much, Jose and Jen. What wonderful advice. I'm just saying, once again, there's so many different pathways to take to get to your goal, to get to your dreams. And we highly encourage exploration, asking questions. Let those be your friends in college. Let your resources be your friends. And speaking of resources, I'm going to head back to our students. And I just want to know, what are some resources that you've utilized to succeed at UC Merced?
Well, what I utilize is the is PALS. So PALS is a tutoring, like a free tutoring service. And it's students basically tutoring students. And I think it's super cool because those students have already taken the class. Also, we do have a math and chem center, which that really does come in handy. So I would always utilize the math and chem center. I know right now, since we are virtual, we do have PALS online. I'm not too sure if the Math and Chem Center is offered online, but I think it is. But I would utilize that, especially if you're taking, Chem 1, or if you, let's say you haven't taken math for a full year and you're going right back into pre-calc or calculus and you need to freshen up your math skills, you can always go to the Math Center. We also have our STEM center that's actually super duper helpful. And for example, if you would like to, I know if you want to do research, you definitely have to have a letter of rec, and to polish up on those writing skills, we also have a writing workshop that you can also utilize those.
Another thing I use is the Career Center. The Career Center has been really helpful in not only career wise, but also they help with med school. Robert Goodman's really good with Robert Goodman. The entire department is really good in helping you prepare for med school, prepare for vet school, prepare for pharmacy school, prepare for grad school. I think without Robert, telling me and Jen, my advisor, who's here, hi Jen, telling me you're gonna get into grad school, it's fine, but they helped me plan for it. I probably wouldn't have gone into NYU. So that's take advantage of everything, because most of the things they offer is for free, because it is a very a lot of students from UC Merced are very low income or come from low communities, low income communities, or first gen. We have a lot of first gen here. I think you're gonna meet a lot of first gen, so don't be scared about it. And UC Merced is very aware of that, and they cater to that. They help a lot of students out who don't have those benefits. The Dean of Students has been really helpful for me. If you have a problem, talk to the Dean of Students. They will be there for you. I know we're not talking about I think without for success, you also need to talk about your mental health. CAPS is really good. CAPS is really good. CAPS helps a lot. They have group therapy sessions, individual sessions, and they also help out a lot, and it's free. That's the cool thing about it. It's free. They help you. And so I think there's a lot of free things that happen at UC Merced, and they help you as an individual, and it made my experience a lot easier. So yeah.
And I think just to add on to what Pana and Ashley said, they've definitely outlined all the things I was going to bring up, all the resources that we have. But, going into my 4th year, if I could give all of you guys one piece of advice, looking back, I think the path to success is just to reach out to those in the position you want to be in. So, I'm a senior now, but I don't know everything. So I'm always asking faculty or any of those resources that they mentioned for help. Don't feel ashamed to ask for help in a math class or at the career service site. Any of our advisors, they're there to help you. That's exactly what, our school offers. So, Jose Martinez in this call is my advisor. I met with him last week and I'm still confused on, what I want to do 100%. That's okay. So it's a really awesome environment because we have all those resources. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, utilizing the free variety of resources. We want to help make sure our students are catered to and supported in every aspect of their student experience. So definitely, please utilize your resources at every opportunity that you can. And another question for our students is talking a little bit about the classroom experience and more specifically, what are you learning inside of the classroom? And applying it outside of the classroom, either in internship resources, even in your daily life. We'll know a little bit more about how you're applying your knowledge beyond the classroom.
Well, I could start with that one. So everything that you're going to start learning, if you're in the School of Natural Sciences, all the, math, chemistry, bio, they're all the building blocks to the higher level classes that you'll get to. So everything kind of compiles. And honestly, for some reason, for me, it felt like those classes had a higher or a larger learning curve for me than the ones I'm at now. You know, by the end of your 4 years, you're going to kind of get in the swing of things and know kind of the way you study. But to answer the question, everything you learn, you're going to apply to outside of the classroom. So if you're in a research project, if you're doing some sort of internship in the fields that you want to go in, you're going to be using all those, you know, first concepts of like what are thermodynamics in chemistry, or basic laws of physics, or, you know, understanding how the cell works in bio. So you're literally applying that, but also I think the environment of being at a university helps you develop your professional skills. So I think those aspects you're also going to be applying to outside of the classroom. And I definitely have grown a lot from, for example, getting this job as a tour guide for admissions. You know, I've used that this experience of like public speaking to help me in jobs that I've gotten outside of school. So, you know, everything kind of relates and kind of weaves together, but that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I was gonna like tag along with what Diana was saying about like it's a building block, and that's the great thing about like every program I've talked about with like my classmates are in different majors, like they build you. So your basics are like your fundamentals are like very important because they help you in the long run. Like it just keeps on building and stacking, and they communicate. Just keep in mind they communicate with each other. Like this is what they've learned. This is kind of like what they've reviewed. At least in my department, that's what they do. And so it's a really big building block with like hands-on. So like you tend to pick up like, oh, this is important. It's gonna keep on going, and so you learn to like your studying habits is something that I've learned is like I need to like have silence and just like be alone, and I can't socialize when I study. And that's something that like was applied with me with like my discussion problems, because in discussion you talk to people and you interact with them and you start regaining information, and then you like if you can't teach it to like your discussion class, you can't really like learn. So that's something I've learned via classes.
They Ashley and Diana, they really went in and they covered all my points. But what I would say is a lot of the classes we do take, you do like, you could apply it. So I'm taking an immunology class right now, and we're learning about vaccines. And so the more I learn about the vaccines, I'm just like, oh, wow, like this is so interesting. This is so cool. You know what receptors do what and what proteins do what. I think it's super duper cool. But other than that, I would definitely say Ashley and Diana definitely covered all my points, so I can't really add anything. But I think, yeah, a lot of our classes are super interactive, and you could apply what you learn to the outside world.
Thank you. Yes, it sounds like you all are learning so many different things that are both kind of in like workplace and professional development, but also your educational development, things that are going to help you in these specific careers that you're going into. And it sounds like it's, especially in the pandemic, I'm sure it's very, very direct that you're able to see kind of how medicine, how biology kind of interact with real life. And I just want to thank you for your answers. I have another question here. This is going to go to our School of Natural Sciences staff. How is our School of Natural Sciences program unique from other universities? Pretty much most campuses seem to have a natural sciences department, but what makes UC Merced unique in that regard?
I can get us started. I might be biased, but I want to say the amount of support that we're able to provide to our students. I think we do an excellent job of making sure that we get to know our students one-to-one, and trying to give as much information as possible to our students to make a more informed decision about their major or career pathways. But I think something that is pretty unique for us is we do what's known as Jumpstart Your Third Year, which currently Jen and I are in the midst of, where we want to sit down and meet with students to be able to walk through their course list, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page about their major requirements, or if they're thinking about switching majors, that they have all the information available to them. I can think back to my own undergrad experience, and it was very much like, see your academic advisor if you want to. But that's something that I feel a lot of our students tend to appreciate. But Jen, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add to that.
Absolutely. One of the things I think we pride ourselves on is, we are the youngest UC and we still are growing, but we're still small, I guess, in the sense where there is still accessibility. There's still smaller classroom sizes, still smaller faculty to student ratio, and where we do have all these opportunities. And we also notice, so the student panelists mentioned a lot about all of the resources we have available. Well, that's because we see the need, because we do have one of the highest number of first generation college students in the UC system. And so we recognize that. So we do recognize that there's that need. And in regards to accessibility, Jose kind of touched on that too. It's like we're always accessible, whether it's via email or, you know, we try to be available for meetings and stuff, but we really want to meet the needs of our students. So we just put in things, we've implemented these strategies to try to hit, you know, things ahead on, rather than we're more proactive than reactive. Let's just put it that way. Like, we're constantly trying to figure out new ways to really help our students be successful. And we do a lot of active learning, learn by doing, not just reading thank you, Dumont, for that, listening to lectures. There's just all these different opportunities, and our faculty and staff we're just unique. Like, you're gonna find that they're very approachable, and we're all there for pretty much, I feel like, the greater good. Like, one of the things I love is that we all want our students to be successful, and we pride ourselves on that. Like, we want our students to graduate and to move on to bigger and better things. And so that's all we kind of focus on, is we focus student-centered first, and everything else comes secondary. And so we want our students just to maximize their time here, and then whatever we can do to help facilitate that.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone is seeing a trend of seeing just a very supportive community within UC Merced. I think those are like the two words that come to mind anytime I speak about the campus and I think about UC Merced, is how accessible and supportive we are for our students, to ensure that when you graduate, you are ready to go out in the world and achieve your dreams. And speaking kind of achieving your dreams and maybe, you know, working with your dream job, if anyone wants to answer this, and Ashley, I know you mentioned you're part of a program that works with a pretty unique company, but are there any partnerships or companies or organizations that you know, work with our students, recruit our students beyond graduation? Ashley, if you want to speak about your own experience, feel free to jump on in here too.
Yeah, of course. So I was part of the Apple Student Advisory Program for 3 years. This program was tied in with UC Merced. It is actually the only UC who does it with Apple. Basically, you become an at-home advisor. They bring you a computer. It's all at home. You don't have to leave your house or anything, and you just work, you talk to people. It pays really well. When I was working there, they paid me $22 right off the bat. So they pay you a lot of money. And they even, like, if like school doesn't completely cover it, they also cover it. You do get college credit if you want it. I personally didn't need it because I was always maxed out in credits. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And they also provide a lot of like benefits, like reimbursements and like school supplies, things like that. It's really helpful. And even after, I've had friends from, like, you also get to meet students from like other states, because you also get to, like, there are a lot of different programs, schools that like are part of the program. And eventually, after you're offered a job, whether it's an advisor, a manager, or someone in like, you can like get higher up and like work in like tech with them. So that's something that happens. Yeah, that's something I do. I know I have a friend at the moment who's an intern for Lawrence Livermore Labs. So that's another company that works with us. Same thing with Gallows Winery, I think. Yeah, we work with them too. And then we also, I think we have like something with Intel, because I noticed a lot of our students work at like transfer to Intel after. So I know a lot of people. I'm very sociable, so I kind of like see the patterns. So a lot of people either work for Apple, Intel, Gallows, Lawrence Livermore Labs. A lot of our students go to the University of the Pacific for pharmacy school, is something I've noticed. So I believe we have some tie with them. A lot of students also work for the Merced Hospital here in Merced to like be interns. Others work at Emmanuel, and they work as the scribes. And so there's a lot of options for any field you're going. If you want to like work in like tech, you can go do this thing. If you want to do work in medicine, we have a lot of programs that like help you like get connections with the hospital, so you can be a scribe or other things. I'm not a med student, I'm a pre-med, so I don't really know that much about that. But from my experience, I learned a lot of leadership skills via Apple, and I gained a lot of context via Apple during my 3 years of being an intern.
A lot of this, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of this comes through our Career Center. So there are a lot of linkage to these internships and to these programs through the Career Center. So we're not always directly involved, but I know we have a relationship with NASA. I actually have a student who spent a year at NASA and just actually got asked back for this summer, and that's through Merced. We have a specific program that actually has that through research. So there's lots of tie-ins. So we always connect students to our Career Center to look into that. So we use something called Handshake, and if you're not familiar with it, we will be when you come on campus, and Handshake actually promotes those internships. And so companies will actually promote any kind of internships or volunteer or shadowing opportunities that might come up. And then we have a liaison. We have Robert Goodman, who's specifically our natural sciences liaison in the Career Center. So all of those goes through that. We don't usually do that in advising. So we usually connect them to the Career Center. But NASA's a big one for Intel, Apple. I've had had a student who had an internship during the summer at Saks. So it just varies, but we know, and we do have local communities. So Gallows is local. We have Hillmar Cheese Factory, which is big. So we do have local entities as well that are involved, but it very much goes through our Career Center.
I was also going to talk a little bit about, because it came up in the Q&A a couple of times, but also think this is a great opportunity to talk about some of our living learning communities. They were briefly mentioned, but they're a wonderful opportunity for first-year students to get to be around other like-minded, passionate scholars. With our living learning communities, students take a weekly seminar where they all connect, and it's led by a house fellow who's a current PhD student who's in the midst of writing their dissertation, just right in the research work, but is able to connect and help students make a home away from home. I know we'll have a separate information session for that. I've shared the link somewhere in the Q&As if folks want to look through there. But if you have not thought about what that opportunity might look like in your first year, I strongly encourage you to check that out.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, once again, utilizing your resources, getting connected with the campus. And I'll be very honest, we have a lot of companies, employers, and opportunities that come to our campus because our students are well known to be incredible and wonderful to work with. And they come out with just an incredible amount of knowledge. So the companies want Merced students, they want a Bobcat to come work for them. So very excited to hear about all these various opportunities. And once again, hoping you will take advantage of them if you come to Merced this fall. Now we are going to go to our final question of the evening because we want to ensure that we end on time. So this is a final question for our students. I just want to know a little bit about what your lives look like outside of the classroom, outside of your many classes that you may be taking and preparing for your future career. What are you doing for fun? Are you involved in any sports or any clubs? And how do you balance the extracurriculars that you're involved in with your school life?
So I am in a couple of clubs. So they are online, and I just make sure that it doesn't conflict with my class schedule. And whenever it was in person, I would just try to make time by, again, making sure it didn't conflict with my class schedule. Also, I don't know if this is just me, but I like to nap. So my extracurriculars is napping. So I'll always take little resting breaks here and there just so I don't tire myself out because we're always studying. So yeah, definitely self-care and take some time for yourself.
I spend a lot of it drawing, and I spend it with my clubs. So I'm part of, as I stated earlier, SPS and WIP and Women in STEM. So I'm part of those three establishments, and they're very understanding in your scheduling. That's the thing, your clubs are typically understanding. But outside of all of that, I also nap. I think napping's very important, and I cook. I love cooking. I love baking. So that's something I do. I try to make a new meal every Friday. Yeah, my chicken katsu last week did not turn out well, but we're trying. So yeah, I'm gonna ask Diana, what do you do outside of school?
I know we're running short on time, but I just want to add that we have over 250 clubs and organizations. So that can be sports, academic stuff, we've all been involved in, the three of us that we've mentioned, but also Greek life on campus. So if you're interested in being in a fraternity or a sorority, we have social ones, multicultural ones, as well as professional ones. So professional are going to be catered towards your major, and then social, as you might expect, are social organizations where you can meet new people, network, and you're usually raising money for a philanthropy. And then multicultural ones are going to have an emphasis on cultural traditions and ties that you may have with other students at UC Merced. So we have all those options. Those options do exist, and it's pretty unique. as being a part of it for 2-3 years, you get a lot of help professionally, and you get to meet a lot of people and network. It makes college fun. So I would definitely recommend checking out our clubs and organizations, which we'll have on our website as well.
Thank you, everybody. I am just so grateful that you have joined us this evening and shared with our guests and all of us your wonderful stories and your wonderful experiences on campus. Once again, I want to become a Bobcat. I am so excited. And I hope that you as guests learned a little bit about what it's like to be part of the UC Merced School of Natural Sciences, and hearing from our incredible students about all the things that they're doing in both their academic and non-academic lives. So thank you once again for our School of Natural Sciences student and staff for joining us. I'm going to pass it back to Iona to close us out.
Thank you so much, Elena, for moderating this awesome panel. I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's been working behind the scenes to answer our questions, and a huge round of applause for all of our panelists, our speakers, to Dean Dumont, our Assistant Dean for Support Services, our academic advisors, and our awesome STAR students. We just want to say congratulations to all of you who have been admitted to UC Merced. We look forward to seeing you in the fall. We do want to reiterate that we have plans to have in-person instruction. And we do know that with the COVID-19, our plans are changing in terms of how we will employ that in-person instruction. So we do encourage you to stay connected, stay updated on our UC Merced website to learn more about that. We do want to highlight, again, Become a Bobcat series. This is week 2 of our several month program. So we do encourage you to visit as many virtual events that interest you. Tomorrow night, we are hosting the School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts. And throughout the next few weeks, we'll host housing. This is a great opportunity for you to ask your housing questions. What will that be like for this fall, as well as financial aid? And we have a lot more student panels coming up. So great time for you to continue connecting with our students, asking all of your great questions to see what life is like at UC Merced. I do want to encourage you, if you have a smartphone, to please scan that QR code at the bottom of the screen. That QR code will take you directly to our Become a Bobcat website for you to learn more about all the virtual admitted student events and workshops. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Office of Admissions. You can find our primary contact information here on the screen, and follow us at our social media. We are posting a lot of updates, dates, and deadlines, Instagram stories for you to check out what life is like at UC Merced. And lastly, we have our 2 admitted student website links there for you to follow the next steps process. We want to remind you that when you're planning to commit to UC, there are a lot of moving parts. So remember, the last day to submit your statement of intent to register, to commit, to say, yes, I want to go to UC Merced, is May 1st of this year. So we do hope that you will become a future Bobcat, and UC Merced will be your home for the next 4 years. And again, that's May 1st for first-year students, and then it is June 1st for transfer students. Again, June 1st, transfer students, May 1st, first-year students. And before we end today's session, we'd like to wrap it up with our amazing Dean of School of Natural Sciences, Elizabeth Dumont. She will end with our closing.
I just want to add my thanks to everyone for being with us tonight. This hour went by super fast. We answered questions as quickly as we could, but just so that you know, this is only a tiny piece of what is in the School of Natural Sciences. So I hope you will join us and find out all the treasure that's there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Dumont, and thank you once again, everyone, for joining. We are so happy that you had come to us this evening, and we wish you all the best in your educational endeavors. Have a good evening.